and welcome to another edition of Gear Gadgets and Gizmos. Today we're going to take a look at the new Voltbike Mariner. Let's get started. Because it's so stinking cold, we're going to take this up inside. Alrighty, so here we got the Voltbike Mariner. We brought it inside after the quick unboxing and the minus 30 wind chill. I waited a few days to let it get a chance to warm up because this battery was like a great big ice block when I brought it in. So I thought I'd just leave her sit here for a few days before I did anything and then before I fired it up. So right now, I'm just wanting to show you, this is basically how the bike comes in the box, minus the bubble wrap that you've seen. I took that off, so you don't need to see that. The only thing you need to screw on is the pedals that fold up. Be sure that you put on the right and the left pedal. There is a marking on the very tip of it, on the end, where it says an R or an L, and making sure you put on the right pedal on the right side. Now also, make sure you put on the washer. Not like me, I put them on first and I realized there was some washers behind and I read the instructions and they put I forgot to put the washer on, so I put that on there. So anyway, the bike comes basically like this. There's no assembly required other than those pedals. Now you come up here, this thing here flips up like that, simple like that. The handlebars come in here. There's some nice measurements here so you can adjust things. Slides right in there, clamps on there, and boom, you're ready to go. That's it. So the first change that which I'm surprised is they used to have a Chromag seat post that had a little spring to it, and now they don't have that. Now they have this Promax. That's an adjustable seat post that goes up and down, so you can bring that up quite high and lower. And you need to take that off if you're going to remove the battery. So as you can see here now, they've got improvements from the original one. They have a guard on both sides, so this gives it a little extra added protection of that it doesn't fall off. And if it gets hit on the bottom, it hits the plate before the chain. This is a rust buster chain too, so it's a special chain that it doesn't rust. So that's been on there since the beginning. As you can see here too now, since the older model, they have added the chip guard. So that seems to be the standard equipment on all their bikes now. And they've also added a nice derailleur guard to protect the nice Acera derailleur. And that is a nice, little bit better quality derailleur than the tourney that is on the Voltbike Yukon. And I believe on the Elegant also, so it's a little bit better derailleur. Now back here you have your 500 watt 8 Fun rated motor by Bafang, so that gives you a nice little bit of power. And with these nice Kenda tires that are the Crusade tires, sport tires that are a good quality tire. And I've got them down a little bit lower because I'm going to go riding out in the snow a little bit later on and show you that. Another big improvement this year is the back rack. There's no more little springs there. This is just a newer, beefier rack with clips here so you can put your panniers. And it's just overall a very beefy rack and very good. Speaking of racks, we'll bring you right to the front. This is the newest addition this year. This is a $40 option. This is front rack. And it's kind of funny, when I was a kid, if you wanted to make your bike not cool, you put a basket on the front. But somehow this does the exact opposite. It just makes it really look cool. And it's, like I said, very solid. So you can load up that thing. And that's a really good little option for an extra $40 and to carry some groceries or things like that if this is a commuter, which this is ideal for a lot of people to use, is that. So now in the front here, we'll go down below. You've got your brakes, which are disc brakes, but they're not hydraulic. They're just manual disc brakes, but they work good. Alrighty, so in the front, we also have another new addition from the original. The original didn't have front shocks, but now they do. I think they introduced that last year. And they have they're the Mazzo Fat Man shocks that give you a nice suspension in the front. And this is another thing, the little details like this here are what's been keeping the Mariner a little bit ahead of the competition, because there are a number of manufacturers that are producing a bike like this style with this exact frame, and but some of them don't have quite all the options as the Voltbike Mariner here. And so a few of the different things, if you compare the specs, this guy always comes out a little bit ahead. The competition is fiercely coming up behind though, and for the price range, this is a great bike. Another thing I did choose was to have it in white versus the flat black, and the reason I went with that is for winter driving, because my friend who has the Voltbike Yukon, and he took it out for a little winter cruise on the streets, and he said he spent more time cleaning that bike afterwards, getting the salt off it, than he did on his ride. And so I just kind of feel that this nice gloss finish is a little bit more protection than the flat black, because you can maybe wax it up in the summertime, you can wipe it off, and it just kind of prevents the salt and the whiteness from appearing. And I think overall it just really looks cool too. Oh, the black is really nice also. It kind of has that old Harley old world feel, and kind of attractive to, I guess, a lot of us guys. But this white is definitely a nice finish, and it really is a nice glossy finish, and it's the same finish that was on the Elegant, which I was impressed with at the time, and that's what this bike has. And then you've got your lights that come with it, one in the front that's integrated into it, and one in the back here. And we'll show you in a minute when we turn those guys on. And then back here we've got more brakes, and then they've got down here, which is one of my favorite things that they put on, is their stand. And it's a really nice beefy kickstand that doesn't sink into the sand, and it's got a good little beefiness to it, and it's perfect. Now, as you see in the back here too, they have their nice steel fenders. These have been on for a little while, and the steel fenders in the front. And now the battery is a 48 volt 14.5 amp hour battery. That's been upgraded since a few years ago, and this thing will get you going about 40 kilometers, 30-40 kilometers in its range if you pedal assist. If you're just using the throttle, it'll probably get you a lot less, but you should be pedaling these guys to keep them going. So now we'll go on up here to the front. So let's turn this on. Okay, we'll turn this guy on. So this is one thing that I'm not real keen on, because at first I tried it and I thought, okay, I can turn it on, pull out the key, but you can't. To have it on, you have to have that key there, and I'm not a fan of that, because I could see that getting hit or something like that. But that's, I guess, the make of the battery, and that's how it works. And up on the top, you see here is to check the battery. You just need to press it there, and you see if your battery is powered. And then that brings us up to the seat here, which they've been sticking with this for the last few years. It's a nice, comfortable Velo seat, nice and comfy. So now we have it turned on. So now we'll go up to the front to the display, and we just press this button, and on she comes. And this has nine steps. Let's get rid of the sun here, get rid of the glare. 9 steps. See, that goes up. Increment steps up to 9, just like on the Yukon, and go down. And then over here, the handlebar itself is just a straight handlebar, nothing super fancy. And the nice hand grips. But another thing they've changed from a few years back, they had a lever control for the throttle, where now they've got a pull throttle. There, she was getting away on me. And now they've got a twist throttle instead of a lever throttle. And I kind of like that better myself than the lever throttle. And it's also, the lever throttle is just something else to get hooked on and broken maybe when you're moving it or what have you. So now they have the controller just like they have on the Elegant and the Yukon. And so now we've got this standard controller here, little plastic guy. It works very well. But like I've mentioned in a lot of other videos, it's a little bit delicate thing, but hopefully it doesn't break. Now this here is a bit of a disappointment from the Yukon and from the bike I've seen in the past. I really like that little compass kind of bell that they have. It's a little bit more substantial and it's kind of cool. And where this guy here is just a cheap little bell that I'd almost rather them not even put it on there versus putting that on. But that's not a big deal. Down here, this is now a folding bike. That's the beautiful part about this thing. And I'll give you a demonstration on folding this bike up right now to show you how small and how easy this bike can fold up. So now what you simply do is you go with this guy here and you flip that out, and then this thing bends around like this. Oh, let's get the kickstand up. Right, like that. And it bends around like that. And there you got it. And now, as you can see down on the bottom, so it's not sitting on the chain, they have this nice little stand here so it doesn't go down on there. And then now you'd pull out the handlebar and bend this down to make it a little bit more compact. But as you can see, this thing can store in a whole lot smaller area. You can easily throw this in a minivan or two of these in a minivan. And that's what's a nice plus about this thing. It's still not the lightest bike. Comes in at 58 pounds, and probably with the rack on the front that adds another pound or two, so it's probably close to 60 pounds. Alright, so I'm going to show you how easy it is to put it back to a full bike. You simply swing it around like that. Opa. Swing it around, lock this in place, this flicks down, and boom, it's good and solid. Put the kickstand down, and she's good to go. And it's a good solid feel. This here's not clunky at all. A very good solid bike. And it's deceptive, this bike also. It is only 20-inch tires, but it just has a bigger size than you'd think. It does appear smaller, I think, when you look at pictures versus it in person. What I really like about this bike is I think this bike is a great bike for anybody who wants to do a rental fleet, or a family that a number of different people are going to use the bike instead of one person. Because this bike here can suit many people. Can suit a smaller woman, can suit a bigger guy, just by adjusting the seats and stuff. And unlike the Yukon that my friend has, that I find for some people that can be a bit too much of a bike. And the fat tires and everything, my friend's wife is not a big of a fan of it, and that's why she likes her Elegant more so than the Yukon. And I'd say that's a common thing, where there's some people that just don't like the super big tire, and also because it's a lot of bike. It weighs up to 70 pounds, and a lot of people aren't used to that. Where this bike here now is a nice size. It's very easy to adjust for all kinds of people. Flip that down there, and boom, we go on there, and there we have it. It's very nice very comfortable. Bring the seat up and down. You can adjust this here. Oh, that's tight, so we can't adjust that. Oh, there we go. You can adjust that to get rid of the glare. And there you have it. Those are basically some of the specs on the Voltbike Mariner. Alrighty. So here we are out cruising. And what I'm finding, compared to what I've noticed on some other videos of older models, it seems to be quieter, this bike. You're hearing the snow, but I'm not hearing that winding that I've heard in other videos. And I just fell earlier because there are some nice patches of ice. So these tires work great in the snow, but just like anything, it doesn't like ice. My brief unboxing and overview of the brand new Voltbike Mariner 2019. We're going to have some follow-up videos in the near future, and I'm going to follow up with comparing it with the Yukon, and we're going to have some footage going out in the snow, so please stay tuned for that. Please like and subscribe, and if you do decide to pull the pin and buy one of these bikes, please use my name, Pete Lautenschlager, if I influenced you into buying the bike in the ambassador slot, and that'll help out the channel. And until next time, this is Pete. We'll see you again.